a little breathing room.
That's great.
Yeah, it's for the new administration to decide what they want to do.
My dad was president of the library for so many years when I was growing up. He'd be very pleased, very, very pleased with what you're doing and keeping it going and making it a true success. When we first talked about the community center, I thought it was a good idea. It's so much better than we ever envisioned. And unfortunately for me, my biggest use of the library when I was a kid was walking home from Little League practice. It had the coldest water fountain. I never stopped to bring home a book. It was great water. Okay, great job. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. We appreciate it. Thank you.
Next on the workshop is the jet ski kayak rentals for 2019 workshop. So I guess we don't have anybody out there, so we just have to talk amongst ourselves on the dais.
I see Bob Lynch in the back there. He's the president of the Harbor Commission.
Oh,
Maybe Bob would want to come up and explain some of the rates.
or do you want to just sit back and listen there, Bob?
I maybe make some comments, but I'll listen for a minute.
Okay. You know, we discussed this 2 weeks ago, and I was looking at the rates, and we were keeping the rates for the boat slips and the other areas of the marina flat, except there was discussion to raise the rates for the kayaks and the jet skis, and I didn't see why, you know, like, people that can afford some of these big boats, they're not getting an increase, but people that really can only afford like a kayak or a jet ski, their rates are gonna go up, especially when we're at 100% capacity for kayaks, and I think we're increasing for, you know, we're not offering them anything more, right?
Well, I think we hadn't really made any decision on the slip, the regular slip fees for next year. We hadn't come to any decision on that. We've gotten some information and had an opportunity to look at it, but we hadn't made any decisions. But we looked at the kayaks. One thing was there's about 100-person backlog, people that want to rent kayak space. So the thought was we either want to build more space for the kayaks, or since there's a demand for it, our rates are lower than a lot of other places in the river.
Isn't that a
and
good
also
thing?
outside the area.
Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, well, I think we also have a split between residents that use the kayak rentals and people outside of town. So we have two rates, and we thought we could raise the rate for the kayaks, maybe raise it more for the people outside of Belmar, and keep the rate more competitive for the residents. And then, you know, if people don't like the increased rate from outside, they will give up their spots, and it'll be an opportunity for Belmar residents to take those spots. And kind of a general business sense is that if there's a demand for something, we should be able to raise the rates. I mean, that was the thought. If there's a backlog of 100-some people, then they would be willing to pay a little more for it.
Is it possible to, I know we discussed this a couple of years ago, because a lot of people drop in their kayaks down at the end of the beach, I don't know, if it's 18th, 19th, or 20th. But it certainly wouldn't be in the way of anything if there were some kayak slips there. So, and that's kind of adding to it, rather than adding to it at the marina and increasing more the parking problem. Because I've seen so many people with their trailers or drag their kayaks across the street and drop it in the ocean there.
Wouldn't have anything, I mean, I don't think it's a marina decision to put kayak racks at the beach. I mean, that would be a different decision, but if that's something that one you consider, yeah.
And I personally spoke to 4 different owners of jet skis and kayaks, but mostly jet skis, that have space there. And, you know, we try to be family friendly, and it is dependent upon the weather. So the average of the 4 people I spoke to, the average time that they've taken theirs out, the jet skis, were 4 times. So that's over $100 each time you take it out, because again, it is dependent on the weather, dependent on time of day, dependent on how busy it is in the marina. So, and I looked at the other amounts that other places charge. We were kind of in the middle, to be honest. There were like one or two that seemed a little extreme personally, but I kind of like the idea that we've got the
Yeah.
lower beach badges and that we're more of a family-friendly town, so.
Yeah, I thought, also on the jet skis, that we've done, again, very well. We filled every spot we had available. And I thought our rates were significantly lower. I mean, some of the rates in some of the other areas, like $1,000.
Well,
We were
we
like,
saw rates on 2 other places, so everyone that we said, no data, we didn't have any data, no data, no data. Like, I didn't even see the prices of the other ones for what the report that we were sent. So
Well,
it was
Atlantic-
tough to compare apples to apples.
yeah, I look at Atlantic Highlands, because it's also a municipal run marina, and they were like, I think, $1,000, $1,050, something like that. We're like $750 for people who are not residents and $500 for residents, I think. So we're like half for residents of what they pay in Atlantic Highlands, another municipal marina. Shark River Hills, also a municipal marina, but I think they kind of gave up. They're not doing jet skis, and none of the other marinas have the jet ski ramps that we have. The docking stations that we have. So again, I thought there's also a backlog on the jet skis. So again, there's a demand for it. We're filled up, and there's a backlog. Thought was to raise those rates some to be more in line with some of the other marinas are charging. But we haven't finished our discussions on the slips.
But if you raise the rates, wouldn't that cause some of the people that can afford it now to maybe not use Belmar, and that's how you would?
Well, if they go someplace else, it's more expensive than Belmar.
You wouldn't want to lose residents,
Yeah.
though.
No, I'm not saying, we have 2 tiers. We have a resident and we have a non-resident. So I wasn't in favor of raising the residents' rate that much.
Yeah. And 750 is,
I mean, I don't have a kayak or a jet ski. It just seems to me that if we have a backlog, then we're doing something right. It's probably a good price. I'd hate to have to chase somebody away because they could afford it this year, but they won't be able to afford the increase. Their biggest boat is a kayak, or their biggest boat is a jet ski, so.
and I know it's not the marina, but maybe we can look into something to adding some kayak slips down at the beach.
Certainly, it's something that could be investigated. Kayak racks unfortunately require a CAFRA permit. We learned that lesson in the marina when we saw that rapid expansion of kayak slips probably about 5 years ago. So that's all been now approved by CAFRA. They were very clear that any expansion of that would require modification,
Okay.
and that would also apply to beachfront. But it doesn't mean it's impossible, it's just a process.
Right.
The only problem is at the beachfront, you're looking at more experienced kayaker to get out through the waves, or to come in through the waves. And you have bathers sometimes coming in with a kayak. You don't necessarily come in straight, you run over some bathers, so you'd almost have to limit, the quality of your ability to kayak in the ocean than at the riverfront.
Yeah, I think we talked, Brian, yeah, you're right. I think, ocean kayaks are a lot different than a
Yeah.
lot of the kayaks that are in
The
racks and
skill
paddleboards.
levels.
Yeah,
Much
and
more
in the
challenging.
river, much easier to get in and out of the water.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mark, do you have anything?
No, I'm just in favor of raising it. I'm on the Harbor Commission. There was a lot of discussion about it, at least raising it for the non-residents. So even if a couple people leave, we have more room for our residents to have the jet skis and kayaks down there. So if we don't raise the resident rate, I at least think that we should raise up the non-resident rate.
Thank you. Jim?
Do the residents have priority on the waiting list?
No, it's just by
First come.
first come, first served.
Okay.
We really didn't have an idea how many, we asked for what the NICS was, and we found out some information on the NICS of residents and non-residents. I think it's
about
like 50-50 in both areas.
And there's no way we could show preference to residents residents, right? Really can't do that.
Well, we show preference. No, if we're gonna use it,
Sure.
first come, first served
That's not
basis.
fair. I mean, that's really, I
Yeah.
think that's the only way you can really do it.
And we show preference just by having different rates for
Okay.
residents, rates for non-residents.
You know what, I can say I was on the Harbor Commission when we first started using the jet ski racks. And I remember several discussions about what the pricing was gonna be, and it was a conscious decision to price them low to attract the tenants, with the understanding that once it was full, the rates were gonna go up. And I think part of that reason that got on hold and why we're discussing it now instead of it having been done already is because of all the work that went on with the marina that was under construction and all that other stuff
Yeah.
going on. And now that everything's cleaned up over there, I think now's the time to really look at it. Now, I have kayaks in the rack over there. The suggestion that I saw was to raise the rate $100. And my wife said, yeah, if they're gonna throw in concierge service, fine, otherwise we're out of there, right? So, I mean, I think some kind of increase, especially in the jet skis, is warranted. I definitely wanna see if there's a way we can lessen the impact on our residents. And, I mean, I love having my kayaks over there, but having them over there is a convenience. Don't have to put them on my car and just take them out and go over to the Shark River. But again, I